Out of breath, the counsellor scrambled up the tower. They warned him of what he would find there, so he readied himself with a scented handkerchief, which he pressed against his nose. Sorensen was already inspecting the scene. Corpses in various stages of decay filled the vampire's nest, yet the pungent stench did not seem to disturb the Witcher. The money is waiting next to the horse, Master Witcher. The Patriarch urges you to leave the city as soon as possible. The hunter shrugged. He measured the distance between the wounds from the fangs with his hand. Peculiar. Bite marks indicate two different jaw patterns. The Garashami brought victims here, broke their spines so they could not defend themselves, like a bird that chewed up worms for its young. The counsellor frowned. What does it mean? It means he was feeding someone. Sabrina. Nothing, again. The Xenovox faltered in the cold. Sorensen would have loved to toss the talking box into the river and be done with it. Unfortunately, he needed an answer. As curiosity overcame his irritation, he tried again. Sabrina, you stupid wench! Sorensen, honey, how courteous you are, the device replied in a metallic voice. The anxious horse pricked its ears and slowed to a trot. The Witcher gave him a spur. You lied to me. Really? There are two vampires, it will cost you double. This is the only reason you bother me? To bargain? I want to know the identity of your fugitive and the circumstances of the escape. No questions. Was that not our agreement? The risk has increased. I need to know who I'm dealing with, otherwise I go back to Angren. The silence stretched on. Sorensen began to suspect that the Xenovox had once again refused to cooperate. Me and two fellow sorceresses were entrusted with raising Stigger Castle, the seat of the renegade wizard Vilgefortz of Roggenveen. We found the remains of this creature killed by a spell. We tried to regenerate it, and we succeeded. You resurrected a vampire. For what purpose? Well, to question him. He could have important information. Stigger Castle witnessed epochal events that we still do not fully understand. I'm sure he turned out to be a charming interlocutor. Sure. Not really. Among the humans, he introduced himself as Emil Regis. There are many indications that this is an ancient, sophisticated creature. But upon awakening, he was driven by blind hunger. Before I could question him more thoroughly, he fled. I apparently underestimated him. Or he was assisted. As I said, there are two vampires. They travel together. Are you regretting our deal, or are you still haggling? Sorensen ignored her. A shabby little cottage appeared around the bend. He pulled the reins and steered his horse there. I have to go. I have work to do. Good boy. Temerian marauders, common thieves. They wanted to rob us outright. The grey-haired one stopped him. He calmed them down. Without even raising his voice. Didn't let the others strip the pantry bare, and he paid for the mare. Gold. Ain looked down. The word slipped out of her mouth before she could think. The Witcher rubbed the scar on his neck. Show me. The farmer glared at his daughter. The newcomer had enough weapons on his horse to supply a dozen troops, and those eyes, like a snake's or a lizard's. No point messing with a man like that. Willy-nilly, he took off his clog, tore open the sole with a knife, and took out a coin. A winged lion with a human head stamped in tarnished gold. A chariot on the reverse. Sorensen had seen such coins before, in the Durlugaliden mounds. A wolf's grin spread across his face. He'd been thinking the trail was going cold. This coin is over 300 years old. Today, it can be found mostly in tombs. You are lucky, landlord. They were not interested in you. Grave robbers, right? Graveyard hyenas. Sorensen adjusted the girth, put his leg in the stirrup, and jumped onto the saddle. Worse. This is someone who remembers those times. The farmer watched the departing gold. He swallowed hard, sighed, then went to calm his daughter, who had locked herself in the woodshed. He had not the heart to be angry with her. I think I'd be angry with her. She just basically said, hey, we've got stuff to steal. Like, I know, why? Like, why? Why are we doing this?